Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
May God bless every person.
Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us here on this wonderful Wednesday. Let's start things open. Lines format 949-8037, 949-6990. And have you share your thoughts with us. 1:30, we get a good chance to have a chat with the Acting Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Samuel Williams Rodriguez, about measles. But between now and then, why not have some open line? Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. 949-8037, 949-6990. It seems as we start the first of this month 5 in this year. Wow, this decade is rapidly drawing to a close. A lot of good things are happening. A lot of people are not just pensive. Some are even being productive. Where are you? 949-8037, 949-6990. Of course, there's a toll-free line. If you can dial it and access it, certainly use it. 1-800-534-8255. We'll all have open line up until 1:30. Then we get a chance to talk to our friends over at HSA. And full focus on measles specifically. But between now and then, let's share. This is May 1st, the start of the official start of the hurricane season. It's just around the corner. And as we do every year with our partnership with HMCI, certainly have an opportunity. But in the meantime, maybe we can continue to be vigilant and make our preparations. And never too early to start. But what is on your mind? What is important? Well, I'll share with you a couple of things. So I had an elderly gentleman. He was saying, he doesn't see himself. And when he looks at, he's been retired now a couple of years, as he works, as he goes into some places, he's now gradually getting accustomed to the fact, he's now a senior citizen, can be legally considered as such, benefit from some of the things. One of the things that he thought was really helpful is that as he goes up to the Georgetown Hospital, as he calls it, and most of us probably do, there's some reserved parking, making it a lot easier. There are lines and different places that accommodate, and even he says increasingly, some people now, when he looks at himself and in his mind sees himself as being an active sort of senior, is wondering to what extent are we able to ensure that our seniors are continually engaged, not just shown respect when they go to businesses, but within the society, there is this healthy respect for our children, as it is for our women, as it is for our senior citizens, as it should be for all of our people. But he said, if you look at the government's attempt at having a policy, formulating legislation, creating programs, great. But where is the public? Where is sometimes the accessibility? And how difficult is it for seniors to live? He shared, for instance, if he didn't, this is just his view, he wondered, what it would be like if he retired and didn't actively plan for retirement. Not only with his finances, but also with his time. What would he do once he's retired. He doesn't have to get up, in the morning, get dressed, go through the routine to get to work. But he still wants to have something. And he decided, after some thought with it, a good discussion with some others, to have a schedule, as it were. Commit some of his time to assisting in the community and volunteering, being a part of, and perhaps an even more active part of his organization, whether it's through the church or the like. But having a routine would be the word that I gather from what he was sharing, so that he has something to work with. But he thought sometimes, even if you wanted to continue to work, could we make it any easier? Are there too many impediments for our seniors to move about? And then you say, look at the other end of the spectrum. His grandson is getting ready to graduate in the next year or so. What are the prospects, for that generation, not only for employment, but for further education? What if they wanted to take time and maybe instead of going off to school full time, they wanted to work, perhaps part-time or full-time? Can they get employment? Where would they get employment? How meaningful would that employment? What if they just wanted to travel and banter about the place just to gain something before, they get sort of settled into the life? Now, should they do it before university or after? Let's go to our phones. Hey, good afternoon. You're on Talk Today. Thank you for calling.
Good afternoon, Sterling.
Hey, welcome. It's good to hear from you again.
Long time. Sterling,
yes,
why I'm calling, I'm fed up with this health service business.
Mm-hmm.
You call to the West clinic and you get up and end up to the hospital. I mean, when you call to the West, I said the West clinic, right?
Right.
You call there and you end up at the HSA. So I don't know what's wrong with them, but I can't get nobody down there. Either down to the.
So so I understand, when you dial the number, the telephone number, instead of ringing at the clinic where you think it ringing where it used to, it now centrally answered.
And you stick a number, if you put in a number that you need to put in after that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're not getting nothing. Besides, when I tried it again, I used up more than $6 a while ago.
Wow.
Trying to get through because I don't want to say this part of it, but I'm waiting for a nurse to come to me, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
Mm.
Anyway.
Well,
Sterling,
yes, ma'am.
Sterling, I really have to go right now because right now,
I hear you.
If I could walk down there, I would do that, but I can't walk down there.
Yeah, I know if you could, you would. Yes, ma'am. And it's not that far, and I mean, think about it, right?
It's not that far, but it's very hot over there.
Yep. Well, I hope you get through.
Sterling,
Uh-huh.
yeah, so Sterling, this is for me for now.
Yep, that's
I'm
fine.
listening. No, I'm listening. No,
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, all right?
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
You too. All the best.
Yep,
I appreciate that caller sharing. And as that caller reference, it sort of ties in with the conversation with the gentleman earlier in that, for instance, as we make things or attempt to make things seem more convenient, we deploy more technology, as it were. He didn't speak to the issue. He spoke. She meant the caller prior mentioned, but just as an example, he said sometimes people don't appreciate they maybe introduce a new telephone system into their organization to make it more efficient. So you dial up. He gave his example was with the banks. Please listen carefully. Our options have changed. Press 1 for this and 2 for that. Press 95 if you want to reach this. Press 1061 if you want to get. And you go through these multiple prompts. Now, sometimes for some people, not just elderly folk, but folk who may, in their mind, sometimes feel that they're in a bit of a rush, or perhaps for whom they don't have that patience. It's just within their their mindset. But it could be that they don't quite embrace the technology, and it becomes increasingly difficult. So as the society changes and evolves, what are we doing to make sure it's accessible and it's inclusive? As we go to our phones, welcome. You're on Talk Today. Hello, good afternoon. Good to hear from you again. How are you, man?
Okay. And you?
Very, very thankful, man. I'm very appreciative of always, what's up for me, but I certainly appreciate you taking the time when you can to give us a shout.
Okay, you're welcome. I spoke a gentleman Monday gone.
Mm-hmm.
Saw him at Foster's in West Bay. And you know him very well. He's your next door neighbor.
Okay.
He's been working with government on the garbage truck from 1988. So I think you know who that is.
Yeah. Good gentleman.
Yes. And he said that in about a month's time he's going to be retiring.
Wow.
I said to him, well, the amount of years that you put in there, they're supposed to have a good pension for you. And he said that they told him they have $51,000 for him, for his pension. And they will be giving him $1,100 a month.
Wow.
Which means $1,100 a month, $51,000, which means in about 6 or 7 years, his pension will be finished. After working with government from 1988 up until 2019, all that garbage he put up at that Georgetown dump, and hardly missed the day of work, and they're going to give him $51,000 for his pension. And this is what I'm saying now about government giving away these concessions to billionaires. These billionaires don't have to worry about no pension, Dwayne.
You know, and as you sharing too, I mean, I just remind me to ask you about the pension in the private sector as well. But as you said, the concessions may be something that we need to look at carefully.
Over the last 4 or 5 years, they've given away hundreds of millions of dollars worth of concessions. So you don't want to talk about 20 years ago up until today.
Mm-hmm.
And if they collected all that money, hundreds of millions of dollars, if they collected all that money from these billionaires and put towards a pension fund for the Caymanian people when they get old, that they'll have money in their pension and don't have to worry about where they can get another dollar from tomorrow. Especially people such as this gentleman that I just spoke about.
Right, but he's in the public sector, right? But I'll give you an example. I was referencing the other gentleman this morning in the conversation. This gentleman works in the private sector, and when you're talking about, just generally speaking, about pensions, he watched his pension fund take a huge dip, and because he was nearing that time when he would expected that he would probably gradually retire, right? Even though there was no official retirement age at that point, he wouldn't have the time as perhaps a young entrant into the workplace to recoup his pension losses. And had he not had the wherewithal to maybe make some of the investments and adjustments he could, that pension that he would collect on retirement, as you're now sharing, isn't going to be enough to live on. It'd be a couple of dollars of help him, but maybe no more than what I say can the money. Mm-hmm.
After working with government from 1988 up until 2019, working on a garbage truck, picking up all that garbage over those years, the government will give him $51,000.
Yeah.
That is absolutely ridiculous, and they're not doing anything to solve the problem.
Now, would you think, let me ask, how do you think then we should approach the whole issue of pensions in this country? Any particular thoughts?
Well, Jim, if they collect these hundreds hundreds of millions of dollars worth of concessions. It's gone over $1 billion now that they're giving away. And that is guaranteed. If they had collected all that money over the years, they would have plenty of money away for our Caymanian people when they get old. After 7 years now, this gentleman now need where he got another dollar from. After working in a garbage truck from 1988 up until today, 2019, and after 7 years, he got work over here, got a dollar from. To go to for first to buy food to eat. That is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it is something to look at. I mean, we see the whole idea of how pensions work, and there are many who are asking the question, do you revisit that whole issue? Some have shared, and perhaps something that we could talk about in a bit. Is it necessary to look at our pensions in a different light? If I could ask of you, though, if you have a second more, with respect to pensions, the fellow that I was speaking to earlier made a comment that I've heard other people share, in that, and I really wish I could repeat it the way he had it phrased, but in that we have not only separate pension funds in this country, but we have a public sector pension, which have multiple pension funds, then a private sector pension. Would you consider, what would be your thought of having one sort of national pension fund, every single worker in this country contributing to one super fund, one big fund for all workers in the country, no matter who they are, already working and the like? What are your thoughts?
Well, Dwayne, if it's a pension fund, then I'm going to collect money every month. As long as I'm here living on this earth, I agree with it.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with it. And once the money you're collecting every month now, you can survive on it. But that's another thing. But Mr. Miller, he's getting on the newspaper, and he's talking about he don't agree with government, with this amnesty for people with the cars not licensed over so many years. And he doesn't agree with the government allowing these people to get away with $6.1 million. What Mr. Miller needs to realize that some of these people have financial problems. The majority of them, especially in the Cayman Islands.
All right. Appreciate it very much for sharing with us. With that, Ms. Susan, taking a quick break. All right. I'm going to come back. A couple of more callers. Hey, stay tuned.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
I have various items coming from different suppliers that I need to ship to Cayman. Do you offer consolidation?
Yes. Seaboard Marine offers consolidation for full and less than container loads. We can hold your packages at our Miami warehouse until everything arrives and ship it all in one go. And we have the best rates to Grand Cayman. Visit seaboardmarine.com for more information.
Shipping shore to shore.
That since day one, government has insisted on strategies with a cruise berthing facility that are both fiscally and environmentally responsible. No damage to 7 Mile Beach, no upland development, no government loans or guarantees.
Looking forward, looking bright.
Learn more and spread the word.
Support our port, support our tourism.
Cayman Carnival Batabaloo presents Alta de Blue, Harbor Drive Waterfront, Friday, May 3rd, 8 p.m. Featuring from Trinidad and Tobago, the Water King, Iwan George.
Come in front for your
From Barbados, whining sensation, Marsville. International DJ Storm and DJ Duchess and local DJ Frost. General admission $25, VIP $50 with all you can drink, separate bar and entrance.
Get tickets online at eventpro.ky and at La Classique on Mary Street.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. 949-8037 or 949-6990. So open line. Let's take a call. Good afternoon and welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Good afternoon. I'm on the line.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you. I just want to say something concerning the last caller. He was on the show this morning saying the same thing about this guy working from 1988 till now and getting $51,000 pension and $1,100 a month. But after 6-7 years, it'd be run out. I think he made a mistake in that. I think, they normally give you 25% of your pension in a lump sum. So his lump sum would be $51,000, but the $1,100 a month would not be out of that $51,000 and will not run out in time. Because he started in 88, he would be on the current pension.
Yeah, the older one where it's not like how
the oldest one.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't think he got that right. I think he better go back and check that. But $51,000 was the total of his pension. No, I don't think that's correct. He needed to check that. $51,000 would be the lump sum plus $1,100 a month.
Right. It's for life then, or over the because of that.
It'd be for life. Yes, because that was before 2000.
Right.
So, so he, that guy, he was on talk show this morning saying the same thing, but he needs to double check that because I don't think he's correct.
If I could, just speaking generally about pensions, if you have a minute or an opportunity to share with us. It's a conversation I had a couple of times again this morning with an elderly gentleman just speaking about some of the issues, and he was sharing that and he couldn't speak specifically to the public sector because he's not a retiring civil servant, but from what he understood, just like you shared, there were one system where you had a sort of direct benefit and one a direct contribution. Then the judiciary has one, and then the legislators have one. And there are multiple sort of pension plans operating within the public sector itself. And he was wondering, to what extent are we looking at these pensions and who is benefiting from his perspective in the in the private sector with the different pension providers. When his took a dip, he had to hope and pray that it recovered,
Right, yeah.
So it's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But in a bit to that caller, I think he should go and double check that because I don't think he's correct about it. 1,100 will come out of that
right.
51,000. That's not correct.
Yeah.
So he needed to get something straightened up there because what he's saying, I'm sure, not correct.
Well, at least, I guess, if we just look at it from the perspective that, can you, if in fact someone's getting 1,100 or 1,000 or 2,000, can they live on that if they were making 3,000, 5,000 or 10,000? How does that adjust? All right.
I agree. So that's more than what I'm getting.
Yeah.
But mine didn't come out of the lump sum. That give you 25% of your pension figured out for the lump sum.
Right.
So in his case, that would have been $51,000 and $1,100 a month would be for life. So he as far as I know,
yeah.
At least that worked for me, and I should sure work for him because I started in 86, he started in 88, so it should be the same thing. So I would tell him. Go ahead and double check this because I don't believe he's correct that 1,100 coming out of 51,000.
Yeah, well, from what I've heard from most people, they go over for the government pension scheme or over to the Public Service Pension Board. They're very helpful. Huh? They have take time with you, explain things. So you're right. This is something to look at.
Yeah.
Anything else,
okay.
sir? All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for clarifying, and I really appreciate it. Let's go to the next line. Welcome. Good afternoon. Yes, hello?
Yes, good afternoon again, Dwayne.
Oh, welcome back again, man. Thank you.
Yes, thank you too. Well, I'm only going like what the gentleman told me, Dwayne.
Yeah, and the thing is, sometimes with pensions or with financial investments and like, it's confusing to many of us. We may not fully grasp what is being shared, and it's no fault of anybody. It's a challenging complex, or it can be challenging and complex.
Well, that doesn't stray us away from the right way to go about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where I left off before. Mr. Miller, he's getting up making all kind of noise about $6.1 million. Government is not charging all these people for this licensing. Some of these people have financial problems. Most of them. Some of these people are poor people.
Right.
Listen to me now, Lee.
Listening.
Okay. $6.1 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Miller complaining about. Okay. Over the last 4 or 5 years, the government has given away hundreds of millions of dollars in concessions. Hundreds and millions of dollars, Dwayne. Why isn't Mr. Miller bringing that to the floor of the House? Why are you bringing up $6.1 million that government is trying to help poor people,
right?
Or people with serious financial problems? Well, he has a problem with that, but don't have a problem with billionaires getting away with hundreds of millions of dollars.
If I may ask, though, just in two things, I want to ask you about the whole idea of the honesty, but not to be accused of defending Mr. Miller. But hasn't he and many of the other MLAs over the years, and since we've mentioned Mr. Miller specifically, questioned the 4 Cayman Investment Alliance and that NRA land deal swap, saying that that's probably $1 billion in exchange value. The Ritz-Carlton? Didn't we call that, as well? So maybe he's saying it's the collection as well as the concession that the government needs to look at.
Well, Dwayne, I don't know what Mr. Miller did in the past. I'm not talking about the past. I'm talking about today, what I saw in the newspaper a couple of days ago.
Right, but I mean, this is current too, because remember during some of the recent sittings, he's also shared that government needs to look not only at its revenue from the sides of taxes it raises, but is it collecting the revenue that's outstanding? If I could ask you about this amnesty, though, just a thought that was shared with me again this morning. Many people look at it and think it's not a bad idea, but a few have questioned, and so let me ask publicly. You can weigh in if you wish. If the vehicle that is being sort of used without a current license is on the road for the last month, the last year, the last 5 years, whatever that time is, that person is driving that vehicle on the road and hasn't paid the license, hasn't paid the insurance. What is your thought? Should that vehicle qualify for amnesty?
Well, I tell you one thing.
Mm-hmm.
If they get in a car accident, they could be in serious problem.
So it's against the law to drive without license and insurance, right?
Of course, it's against the law, and
right.
I'm not encouraging every year now must give an amnesty for people. I'm not encouraging this thing now to go on forever now, Dwayne. I'm just saying this one time. I don't really see no big deal about it, but why Mr. Miller don't get up on the floor of the House and talk about the hundreds of millions of dollars that have been given away to billionaires?
Right, no, I understand you, but I was asking, because I've heard this a couple of times where people have asked the question. They agree with the idea of government looking at some sort of amnesty, and it may help people, but if a person has a vehicle that they have knowingly taken the chance to drive over the last period of time, months, years, however long, without license, without insurance, should that person now benefit from that act and get the amnesty? Do you think that's a good way to go, a precedent the government should consider setting?
Like I said, this one time, not a pro-government, but they keep giving away concessions, hundreds of millions of dollars that add up to billions.
Right.
That's a problem. And another thing, Mr. Miller got take off and stop talking foolishness about a train from the outside to where I take it away. That's another all that foolishness. Let me tell you something about Mr. Miller. He can be very ignorant when he ready, you know.
Well, probably a characteristic of many of us, I believe, you know. Was it indignant? We can be.
I'm speaking the truth as man to man.
Yeah, no. I think what you share is your perspective, right? So I appreciate it. Any other thoughts you want to leave with us?
Yeah, I would just like to say this too.
Mm-hmm.
Concerning the concessions.
Mm-hmm.
That now in the newspaper, he's getting ready to build a big community. And there's a lot of construction going on now. Right? You know that yourself.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, just down on one road alone, huh?
A lot of construction going on now.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing with these concessions government got to do, not just for the pension, these hundreds of millions of dollars for the concessions they're giving away, not just for the pensions, they're going to put this towards a trade school fund. Put this money towards a trade school fund and build some trade schools for young people that they can help build these buildings that are getting ready to be built. Build the first one in Bartontown, then the next one in Georgetown, and then as the funds get bigger, you build one in West Bay, you build one in East End, that our young people, if they want to ride bicycle or if they want to walk to these trade schools, they can. I spoke to a man that is in charge of, he's the manager of construction and development for that, and I spoke to him about a year ago on the radio, and I asked him would he be willing to work with the government in building trade schools in this country, and the man said yes.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, man. I think there is that partnership. Hey, thanks for sharing with us, all right? I think if I don't follow Miss Susan's correction now and take that break, what she say? Can I say that publicly? She that timer switch to me? Some people probably find that interesting. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk today.
Business owners, managers, and marketers interested in learning how digital and social media marketing can help grow your business? Join Yellow Media Group Monday, May 27th at Yellow Digicon and unleash your company's digital potential. Learn from international digital marketing and social media experts, including speakers from Google and Matchcraft, plus a Fortune 500 digital marketing strategist. Complimentary registration for Yellow Media Group customers. Register now at digiconcayman.com or findyellow.com. Presented by Yellow Media Group in partnership with Google. At Powerhouse Gym, where you feel like home in a multicultural energy environment for all. They are dedicated to helping you achieve your fitness goals. Whether you have decided to get in shape, train for a specific sport, boost your energy levels, or even look your best for a special day. With a variety of sports options, group fitness classes, CrossFit outdoor gym. They provide personal trainers and equipment. Powerhouse Gym, King Sports Center, offers a complete health and recreational environment for the only sports and recreational facility of its kind in the Cayman Islands. For more information, call 946-5464. Email kings@candw.ky or visit www.kingsportscenter.com. Powerhouse Gym, King Sports Center. Serious results, period.
Real estate agents and developers, as well as dealers in precious metals and stones, have until Wednesday, May 29th to register with the Department of Commerce and Investment. The DCI is the agency with responsibility for ensuring real estate agents and developers, as well as dealers in precious metals and stones, are compliant with international obligations relating to anti-money laundering and combating the financing of terrorism. DCI urges businesses to register as soon as possible to avoid missing the deadline on May 29th. Registration forms are available from www.dci.gov.ky or the DCI counter at the Government Administration Building. For further details, please contact enforcement@dci.gov.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. 949-8837, 949-6990. Those are two numbers you can use. Equally, the toll-free line, 1-800-534-TALK. or 1-800-534-8255. Call and share your thoughts with us as we have some open line. Likewise, we invite you to use the WhatsApp. You can record a voice note. You can type and send it through. We read the text for you. 925-3261, and share your thoughts with us. The caller last, his view on trade schools. What do you think? We're seeing many consider that we need to look at technical and vocational training. Now, some have had the view that when we make it a separate part of the curriculum, we identify those with the interest and aptitude, and we train them. Others have shared, well, it should be all encompassing and as inclusive as possible. And as the students go through that area, that we don't only look at teaching them the skill sets, or how to be a plumber and connect up some pipes, or be an electrician and pull and twist some wires, but we encourage them to go further on to get international qualifications and certifications that not only demonstrate their competence and proficiency, but they can work here and travel globally and be recognized and respected and have great employment prospects. Now, is that where we're going? Is that what we mean when we're looking at not just developing the technical and vocational training initiatives and building the buildings and the like? Or is it, as some have shared, that we've been doing all along, just provide enough so that people can come on a job site, but really no prospects of upward mobility, of benefiting from the continued development we see within the ever-increasing construction market? What is your view? 949-8837, 949-6990. Likewise, some would share that we see the same things happening within the tourism sector. Many are making lots of money off the backs of pennies that they're paying for their employees because there's no training and skill sets being developed. There's some have alleged a direct, sort of discouraging approach to having new entrants from Caymanians into the sector, either as employees or as entrepreneurs. And yet, we are led to believe there are lots of money being made in the sector. But is it benefiting the Caymanian populace? Well, what are your thoughts? 949-8037 or 949-6990. And if you want, you can WhatsApp 925-3261 and share your thoughts with us. Now, the toll-free line is there as well, so by all means, use them all. Use either one. Use the one that works best for you. We can have you share with us your thoughts as we go to our phones. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you this afternoon?
Oh, very blessed and thankful, and so good to hear from you. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm thankful. I'm thankful for every day that God give me life.
Amen, amen.
I'm so thankful for that. We all should be, even though we talk about Cayman and it's getting bad and things like that. But when you look at the television and the news, and you see how hard people have to strive to even exist, no home, no food, nowhere to go. People coming from Honduras, trying to get to United States, Guatemala, the places like that, to make a better life for them and their families, then we are so blessed in every way. We can't even count our blessings. We can't even count. But what I'm going to say, maybe it was said before, because unfortunately I just turn on the radio. Not that I don't love Radio Cayman, that's my station.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if Caymanians are losing their memory, or they don't want to say so, or whatever is the cause of it. But you recall many years, it could be 2004 or the year before, or 2003, I can't remember. But at the time, being McKeever was the minister in charge of tourism, as far as I can remember that.
Mm-hmm.
He bought John Burns Island's house for a hospitality, to teach hospitality for thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Did anything happen about that? Or people's memory wants to be short because of it's McKeever. I'm not afraid to say that because it is the truth. So many things were supposed to happen, not only him as a minister, but other ministers too. And what has happened to us? We have tourism minister after tourism minister. The best one I ever knew, God rest his soul, was Jim Bodden. And I must say, also Roy Bodden, when he was in labor. You never hear about them checking on these hotels. You never hear about them checking in condos to see that the managers there are Caymanians. Oh, no. Nothing like that is going on. Then we just constantly let the hotels do what they want to do, and nothing is done about it. Because we have no one checking to see that Caymanians understudy, people that's supposing to be the boss, the managers of hotels, the managing director, go to any of these big hotels, so see if it is Caymanians that are in charge. Any of them. Not one. All you can hear is he or she is working on the so and so and so and coming down the line. But all the big bosses, as we usually say, are foreign people. It should be that, okay, this is our line. This is our island. It should be that when they come in here, a certain amount of time is given, 3 years or whatever it takes, and a Caymanian that is interested understudy them. They know now that they only got 3 years. And then let them go or transfer them back. Let the company transfer them back, because these big companies here, they transfers their people. You never hear them transferring Caymanians. You hear the transfers the same people that the Caymanians is working under. We are too naive when it comes to this sort of thing, Dwayne. And it's hurtful to think that our forefathers fought for things, and yet we sit down, bite our tongue, and make I tell you, some Caymanians are the worst people to work with. The worst. Some. Bear in mind, I said some. They are against their own people. That's why we can't get ahead any further. That is why when people come in here and hold big jobs, lawyers, accountants, they look at us as fools. We're not. We're too naive when it comes. We're too kind. We're too yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am, that we were taught. But I thank you, Dwayne. I could say more, but I'll let it go for now. And I thank you very much, and thank Radio Cayman, and good afternoon to my friend Susan.
Well, thank you very much, Mom, and certainly looking forward to chatting with you again. With that, let's pause and take a break. Go to our news headlines. When we come back, at least another half an hour open line. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman. Radio Cayman's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
A 63-year-old Northside man has been found dead. Police say officers and emergency personnel were called out to a report of a man found unresponsive at a Frank Sound address. Emergency services attended the scene and pronounced him dead. Police say the incident was reported just before 3 p.m. yesterday. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines. In news elsewhere, Gavin Williamson has been sacked as Defense Secretary following an inquiry into a leak from a top-level National Security Council meeting. Downing Street said the PM had lost confidence in his ability to serve, and Penny Mordaunt will take on the role. The inquiry followed reports over a plan to allow Hawaii limited access to help build the UK's new 5G network. Caster Semenya has lost a landmark case against athletics' governing body, meaning it will be allowed to restrict testosterone levels in female runners. The Court of Arbitration for Sport, CAS, rejected the South Africans' challenge against the IAAF's new rules, but CAS said it had serious concerns as to the future practical application of the regulations. And Porto goalkeeper Iker Casillas has been taken to hospital after suffering a heart attack at their training ground, the club has said. The 37-year-old is stable in hospital and remains under observation. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
La Masse, the music, the cuisine. Batabanou's La Masse fundraising dinner show returns Thursday, May 2nd at Pedro St. James Castle. Enjoy a delectable Caribbean dinner under the stars with entertainment by local and international DJs, Caymanian soca sensation Andrea Rivera, and international headliner Mappy the Violin Queen. Tickets are $100 CI, including dinner, champagne, and wine. Dress island chic. Tickets are now on sale at Le Classique or online at eventpro.ky. The La Masse Fundraising Dinner Show, a signature event of Cayman Carnival Batabanou.
The perfect night's sleep you've always dreamed of is now a reality. May is the Sleep Better month, and Tomlinson Furniture and the Mattress Gallery is here to help you achieve just that. The top brands in mattresses are the top brands in pillows, offering from breathable comfort to cooling technology, body pillows, chill pillows, and a lot more pillow for every sleep style. Check out the new arrivals of living room sets, bedroom sets, and beautiful home decor. We have the complete look to finish your home, all available at Tomlinson Furniture and the Mattress Gallery. Showroom on the second floor at the four-way stop, Hospital and Walkers Road.
Now until supplies last, clearance on select Beauty Rest mattresses at the Mattress Gallery by Tomlinson Furniture.
You don't have to run all over town looking for good help. Call G&A Spectacular Cleaning for all of your carpet cleaning, tile and grout cleaning, maid services, pressure washing, and a whole lot more. Our clients can certainly attest to our reasonable prices and great service. Call 323-5237 or 917-5798. G&A Spectacular Cleaning. We give cleaning a whole new meaning.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. It is some open line. Let's have you share your thoughts with us. 949-8037, 949-8037, or 949-6990. Susan is standing by to take your call. You know, it's not an order for, 1999, but certainly want to hear from you. Have you share your thoughts with us. 949-8037 or 949-6990. To the callers earlier, certainly you can pick up what they were sharing, but share us with us if you want to on another topic. Is it that when we're looking at our pensions, should we be considering a super fund? I think as one fellow this morning shared with us, not necessarily one that is accessible or managed by government, but one that he said that is to include all of the country's employees. He shared that if you look at the size of the working population, So a relatively small number of people. And if we have, half a dozen or a dozen or whatever the number of pension providers within the country, then is that money, when we look at it in aggregate, the billions that are on the investment in the collected pensions, would it be better if not only lower administrative costs, but better returns if it was all pooled, managed by one entity? Would we see, the performance in a sense? No. Some of you might say, well, no, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Some have shared that some pension administrators have provided better returns than others because of their investment strategies, perhaps because of the profile and demographic of their sort of contributors. But even in the public sector, should we look at it more carefully? Well, your thoughts. 949-8037 or 949-6990. Now, the gentleman who was speaking with us earlier had shared his perspective that when his pension fund, even though he had, technically, he was going to be approaching a certain age, and even though there was no legally mandated retirement age at that point, there's this sort of unwritten rule that when you get there, companies will start to retire you. Some could work beyond that. This is in the private sector, especially if those individuals were on a work permit. But it seemed that the practice was if you were a Caymanian or did not need a work permit, you probably were going to be retired earlier. He questioned whether that was a practice that should have been allowed, but that seemed to have been the unwritten accepted practice. Now, as he looked at it, when his pension took a hit, as did many, the blame, he said, because of the global financial market, yet the pension administrator still got collected their fees. The pension fund had a negative dip. Now, he was not able to recover in time because of his time. The people in their 20s and 30s probably were able to weather that over the next few decades if the economy continues to perform and the like. Now, we had a number of questions. Should we be able to hedge it for future sort of dips within the financial circle and have that cycle move in a way that allows better performance? Should we be investing some of that money at home in our own economy? I referenced the late Bo Miller's sentiments relative to investing in our infrastructure. Should we not do likewise in our real estate? The same sort of investments that the pension funds are doing in other economies, not just the emerging markets, but the developed economies, could we and should we not be doing, some of that investing here with the funds from the pension that are generated here? And if not, why not? Now, he shared that if we look at the way the economy works and the idea that there's only recently we made some amendments to our pension legislation. Up until then, he was only required to contribute up to 60,000. Whether he was making more than that, he was only legally, had to report on 60,000. Now that's been increased to I think 8 or something. I don't quite recall the sum he shared, but he said, why do that for some and not for all? You're paying on your pension, or you're not paying on your pension, and if it's because some people believe that they can invest the money better on their own, or that they need to have that extra fund to be able to live on. So why don't we assess it properly and create sort of one standard, one rule for all? Now, he shares that there are some who would look at pensions and look at it as if some sort of socialism when it comes to the practices of politicians and the like. But is it that if we are able as a country to adopt a policy where while you're young you're making a contribution, it's invested properly, and at some point in time, 60, 70, earlier or later depending, you can draw on it and you'll be able to reasonably enjoy a certain standard of living? Should we not be considering that? Now, some of you may have better answers and more insight. Well, let's hear from you. 949-8037 or 949-6990. But his sort of parting words wasn't only in the fact that you look at these things when you get to a certain age, or you get time on your hands, or you have to, whether you want to or not, acknowledge certain circumstances. But he shared that, when he looks at his own perspective, if he hadn't had the wherewithal to do some of the things that he did, that money that was in his pension would be little or nothing, certainly insufficient. Now, how many of us recognize that expectation, even with your invested pension, that you're not going to have the sort of funds to live on? If that's the case, then can we do something to make it perhaps more manageable for those then who are not only on a fixed income but have no employment prospects, probably have increased expenses, medical as well as other expenses, and yet more expenses, less money to spend and pay for these expenses? How are they to survive? That's a challenge that I think he says we're not properly acknowledging and maybe not doing enough to try to solve. Your views, 949-8037, 949-6990, or 1-800-534-8255. Now, a quick heads up that at 1:30, for about a half an hour or so, Dr. Samuel Williams Rodriguez, the acting medical officer of health, together with the EPA nurse manager, Angela Graham, will join us. We're going to talk specifically about measles. We know that the public health department have been issuing some health alerts, so we'll give you an update on that as well. 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. We'll pause. I'll take a break. When we come back, let's join our callers.
Attention accounting service providers. According to the Anti-Money Laundering and Counter-Terrorist Financing Regulations, all firms providing accounting services, including but not limited to bookkeeping, payroll, accounts preparation, or tax advice, are required to register with the Cayman Islands Institute of Professional Accountants by May 30th. Free workshops will be provided on May 3rd, 10th, and 17th. For more information, call 749-3360. Email admin@ciipa.ky or visit ciipa.ky.
Money Sense, bringing an informed financial perspective to the Cayman community. Brought to you by the CFA Society Cayman Islands and sponsored by One Trade X. Join Money Sense Thursday at 7:30 a.m. and email your questions to moneysense at Candiwaki. That's money, SENSE at CANDW.KY. Money Sense, the only personal finance radio show in the Cayman Islands. Brought to you with the support of One Trade X.
Cayman Carnival Batabanu presents Alta in Blue, Harbor Drive Waterfront, Friday, May 3rd, 8 p.m. Featuring from Trinidad and Tobago, the Water King, I Want George. Come in front for your From Barbados, whining sensation, Marsville. International DJ Storm and DJ Duchess and local DJ Frost. General admission $25, VIP $50 with all you can drink separate bar and entrance.
Get tickets online at eventpro.ky and at La Classique on Mary Street.
Moms everywhere, Advance Automotive salutes you. We know you have the hardest job in the world, so we want to introduce you to the 2019 Chevrolet Traverse, the stylish 7 or 8-seater SUV, voted Best Family Car 2018. Partnering with Saxon, take advantage of our new 1-2-3 offer. 1 year free insurance, 2 years free servicing, and 3 years free licensing, freeing up more cash to pamper yourself this Mother's Day. Moms everywhere, you rock. Visit the showroom on Owen Roberts Drive or visit AdvanceChevrolet.com to start enjoying your new Traverse. Who runs the world? Mums.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. It's open line 949-8037 or 949-6990. Let's go to our phones. Hey, welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Hello.
Hey, how are you, man?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, man.
Good afternoon to you, man. Appreciate you sharing with us.
Yeah, man. There's much left before they are closed, you know?
Wow.
I count down. I look at an hourglass. I look at her. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But my whole perspective this afternoon, right? In overlapping of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then, like on Friday, I was present in the studio, right? And I was telling you, right, in the public that the pension, they operate like a mafia, larceny. You know, auditing, gambling, and shares, right? You know?
Mm-hmm.
So, those currencies and monies should be relegated here and regulated properly, okay? Right? But starting, like, we're going to talk about this afternoon, right? Starting, listen, the Trump administration, right?
Mm-hmm.
They tapped into Iran oil, right, with sanctions, right? And Iran, they have high quantity of oil, right, reserves, right? So, obviously, it's going to affect globally. The prices will increase, right? It affect us. And you know what's going on in Venezuela, a proxy war, right? Maduro, right? Nicolas Maduro.
Mm-hmm.
The Kremlin backing him. In the interim, U.S. the White House. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, those things you got to look at. If war, like I was telling you in the studio off air, if war happened, what happened to us? Very important groceries and stuff. You feel me?
Yeah, man.
The price will inflate now. It's the things you look at. It's the next thing I tell you now, right? You see, like, the UN now, United Nations, right? They giving the British, the British operate in a imperial governance now. So they give them a hard time, right? With pressure, with trade over there. And they're sending judges for any mention or any arraignments now. Right? For that scenario, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, like, and in the past now, Tony Blair and George Bush Jr., they went to Iraq and like I tell you, it's propaganda that will start war. They get Tony Blair hell. The same people in UK now, 2003 March, I recall now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, because the propaganda started, you got to be careful with thread, right? That's my whole epitome, what we're talking about this afternoon.
Right.
And listen, we almost did a 2-year march, Sterling, right? With our election, the horse-free negotiation,
Mm-hmm.
that's a problem, right? So the people calling up in the past that the combination government, the coalition government, or unity government, we call it, they weren't going to last. But like I said, I tell you, I have instincts. It lasting. Look at the opposition. Shenanigans, you know, like shamble. You see what I tell you?
So as you...
It's about maturity, starting maturity.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Simon, go ahead.
No, I was saying, as you look at it, then you're seeing that just distilling what you're sharing. So because of political convenience and sort of expediency, you'll see people come together to make sure that they maintain their perspective and their position.
Yeah, so let me say, we see you feel the gap we're seeing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like at that time, the political consensus was going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Going astray. Well, they come like they wanted a transgressive government.
Right.
That operate at the time. But listen, I can see things now, for fools are foolish now. You want to be this, you want to be that now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's sometimes you get stored now. Look at yourself.
Yeah.
You know, you get taught of it. You think what you're talking now.
But let me...
Some people, some people it came on.
Mm-hmm.
Some people came on now. You tune your qualification, education to be someone. Listen, you're going to roll somebody can manipulate you and fraud you.
Yep.
Hello. Before you get fundamentals and intellectual, that is understandable.
All right. But let me ask then, do you think then, from that perspective, with just what you just shared, that the politicians and their handlers and they're like going to try to orchestrate a particular outcome and as their language use a particular narrative, but do you think the voter would be willing to sit by and let this thing unfold if the voters were not okay with it?
So the majority of the electorate, right?
Mm-hmm.
They know what's going on, right? They know what's going on. Like I said, you read thoroughly. You pick up here, hear that, and go with that.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean no one, right? So that a lot of people, they were precarious. There are no conditions were going on around.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Or they go pick up this, they go with that. You know? You got to analyze certain things. Right?
So is it that the voters, as you shared, they're unaware, they're not sure what's going on? Is it because they're not paying attention, they don't care, they're just too busy trying to trade in water? I mean, what is it?
You let me know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a workaholic, right? And I have time to read.
Right.
On lunchtime break time, even I was for years, right? But see, the thing is, distraction.
Right.
So that's all key. Eh? And starting, I guess one more thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I know you have a guest coming up. Two more things, I say.
Go on.
You see that measles epidemic?
Uh-huh.
Or she got a hand now. I tell you. Like, the vaccination, some people across the waters, they're against vaccination.
Right.
Whether it's a child, whether autism, whatever, I don't know. But
right.
Nowadays, instead of one more thing, I tell you, you see the marijuana thing?
Uh-huh.
Listen to me, the herbs, listen to me. I don't care whoever got a bad effect of it, or who traumatized against it, listen to me. That's the norm, right?
Right.
Places that legalize it, they no longer no rogue state. You want to tell you?
Right. Now, I don't want to lose your point. I'll go back to the measles in a second, but so you had 2 points. You made them, right? I don't want to cut you off. With the measles in the region, from what you read, the news that you've been following, how many countries in the region are you aware of that are being affected by measles? Especially the ones that we travel to and fro.
Like suddenly, right now, I can be off now.
Mm-hmm.
My statistics, I see about almost 1/3 now. That height, but you're getting there.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, okay. It's spreading. In a place like metropolitan places. Hello,
mm-hmm.
it should be first on that.
Right.
It should be eradicating that tackle that right away.
Mm-hmm.
So, but nowadays, starting, like you see the propaganda machine that goes. Because you see, cause that, like people in places like US and in the UK, the parent don't want their child to get vaccination because autism and ADD and learning disability and this and that. That will cause that now. Certain metropolitan places, that will cause it.
Mm-hmm.
If they educate properly, right, and get from different sources, right, different expertise, knowledge, that can be resolved properly. But how it is, it's just spread.
You think then that parents are probably afraid, for whatever reason, they're ill-informed, they've been misinformed. Perhaps there is some truth to it, conspiracy. Otherwise, I mean, for some reason, there's a reluctance or the fear that of the safety for certain vaccinations, and then they don't go forward with it for their children. Any concerns that could be the case?
Yeah, that's the case, Sterling.
Mm-hmm.
You see, like in our hemisphere, like I don't know America, they're going to the Pan American and Central American. They're going by that now. The children autism. I know they're going back in days now. So they're going by Sterling. But Sterling, I hope because a lot of people come on cruise ship now.
Mm-hmm.
Right, hello. And air too now. So hello. So you gotta be careful. You remember the outbreak, the Ebola, it's like an outbreak.
Mm-hmm.
About 5 years ago.
Right.
All right, serious thing. And so, like I say again, the public goes so down. Listen, like I say again, starting being a hurricane belt now. Next month, hurricane will start.
Right.
So you don't know the unknown. Prepare.
Prepare. That's it, man.
Okay, sorry. That's my contribution, man.
Thank you very much for making it as well, man. All right. I always enjoy listening, and I think as the caller shares, if we can find time or if we can make time to read and with great respect, not just one source, see what other sources from the news, and be willing to critically think and analyze and see if you can understand, and hopefully find time and chat with your friends and see what their perspectives are and have a healthy discussion. I mean, I always agree with the same thing, but can we do it civilly? It's open line. This is how we live and learn. Sometimes we love and laugh. 949-8037, 949-6990. Welcome your calls and your contributions. We'll have a chance for half an hour between 1:30 and 2 for some discussion on the measles, and then 2 to 2:30, probably some more open line again, but let's deal with what was before us. We have a call, Miss Susan? No calls? All right. And why don't we take a couple of seconds to the break early, get our guests settled, and when we come back, why don't we go right into that discussion? Stay tuned for Talk Today.
The math, the music, the cuisine. Batabanou's Lamass fundraising dinner show returns Thursday, May 2nd at Pedro St. James Castle. Enjoy a delectable Caribbean dinner under the stars with entertainment by local and international DJs, Caymanian soca sensation Andrea Rivera, and international headliner Mappy the Violin Queen. Tickets are $100 CI, including dinner, champagne, and wine. Dress island chic. Tickets are now on sale at Le Classique or online at eventpro.ky. The La Masque Fundraising Dinner Show, a signature event of Cayman Carnival Batabanu.
Keeping cool in Cayman is essential, but can be costly. Making small adjustments to your household can lead to big savings and help protect the environment. Keep your blinds, curtains, doors, and windows closed when it's hot outside. Using a fan instead of AC will use less power and can cost a mere third of air conditioning. And when using a fan, rotate it anti-clockwise, which will blow the cool air downward, saving even more energy and money. Visit the Ministry of Commerce, Planning, and Infrastructure Facebook page for more tips on alternatives to AC and be an energy advocate.
At Flow, we know that 4 are better than 1. Introducing Flow Quad Play. Packed with the fastest, most reliable broadband, the power and control of Flow Evo TV, Cayman's best mobile experience, and tons of home phone minutes, all in one convenient package from only $199 a month. With 4 plans to choose from, you're sure to find one that fits your needs. It's value, ease, and convenience all on one bill with Cayman's #1 network. Find out why 4 are better than 1 with Flow Quad Play at discoverflow.ky. Terms and conditions apply.
Headlines.
With the latest headlines.
All the news when you want it. Tune in to Radio Cayman for hourly headlines of the day's top stories.
One of Cayman's bright and shining young stars.
Local, regional, international. Turning to international news. Updates on the hour between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. on weekdays. Radio Cayman News. Headlines. Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. And in our studio, we have the opportunity to not only have a continued partnership with our good friends over at the Health Services Authority, but perhaps with them and through them, as we disseminate some timely information, maybe more of us become encouraged to consider careers in the health services. Our opportunity to speak to the Acting Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Samuel Williams-Rodriguez, and the EPA Manager Nurse Angela Graham. Very grateful, for this opportunity, not only to speak with you, but to become updated and informed relative to measles specifically. So good afternoon, Doc. Thanks so much for joining us, man.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. Thank you very much for having us here again. We want to use your wonderful program and the opportunity to discuss about the measles outbreak that have been in the media, been in different countries in Europe and also in the Americas, in the U.S. Not any cases here in the Cayman Island as yet. We're prepared to, if any case, get into our shores. But it's good for the people to be aware, for the public to be aware of what is there and what we all need to do in order to prevent one, to try to get it into the island, and if we get any imported cases into the island, to prevent any outbreaks into the island.
And it's interesting. You talk to some people, say, under 20, for instance, not just high school students, but young college students. Measles, they're unaware of it. You speak to their parents, different story. But then there's some between 20 and 30 as young parents, probably not aware. I don't know. For some reason, that's the first time I started to feel old. So I had to go talk to Susan. I don't feel so old. But Nasangela, is that then that we're in a world that we've had it eradicated, or was it?
Okay, it has not been eradicated.
Right.
Hence, we're having this problem with it now. The only communicable disease that we have totally eradicated is smallpox.
Mm-hmm.
But in the Americas, we were in a state of elimination. We had eliminated measles in the Americas, and we had that declaration in 2016. However, because of the ongoing transmission over a year in Venezuela, in Brazil, and the adjoining countries, we have lost, some of those countries have lost the elimination status. However, the countries of the Caribbean, of which Cayman is a part, have not lost that status. So we are still known to have eliminated measles from our region.
Dr. Williams, from that from that perspective, then we will look at the Cayman context. Not just because you guys are here. I probably would be known to share publicly or privately, whether I'm in favor or not in favor of certain things. But I speak highly of the health services, because I think we have a wonderful, robust system, publicly and privately, within our country. So we do a good job with health alerts, we do a good job with screening, we provide accessibility. But again, with the Cayman context, we look at 2+ million people visiting our shores every year. We look at the people who live and work here, traveling globally, mission trips, vacation, adventure trips. I mean, we go pretty much anywhere and everywhere. In the U.S., we see 24 states maybe being affected and so about. Could I, with great respect, maybe start with Grand Cayman, Cayman back, Little Cayman, because we don't have any cases here. Then we got Jamaica, Honduras, Cuba, we got Florida. Start with the region. I mean, what do we have? Do we have measles in Jamaica? Do we have in Honduras? In Florida?
No, we're not aware of any case of measles in Jamaica or Honduras.
Mm-hmm.
There have been reported cases of measles in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the states in the U.S. that actually reported case of measles. In the Caribbean, there have been imported cases to Antigua and Barbuda and to the Bahamas. However, there is an outbreak of measles quite large in Venezuela and Brazil. Cayman, as you mentioned, we have people here from many nationalities. A lot of people travel back and forth for the Cayman Islands. It's a beautiful place. A lot of people want to travel here. We definitely don't want to intervene on that. However, we cannot do anything basically to prevent people from other places come here and maybe they carry or the virus when they reach here. What we need to work is what we do here on island to prevent, if it's a case, get imported into the island to prevent an outbreak.
Right.
And we'll talk more about it, but there are different things, but the main thing will be vaccination, because this is one of the conditions that can be prevented by a vaccine.
And I really appreciate you sharing, because I think we need, as a people, not to be alarmed, but to be informed, not to, be scared, but to take proactive measures. And vaccinations, they're safe and effective.
Yes, and as I think all our listeners know, we have the best vaccines that are available. We have vaccines that are safe, they're effective, and it speaks to the fact that we don't have any measles cases here, because persons from here travel a lot. That our vaccination coverage, although it's not over the 95% for the first dose that we really would like to achieve, for the second dose, usually we achieve that because there is a requirement before children go to school that they are immunized, and we have a very good screening program that is run by our school health coordinator, and they screen children before they go into primary school, and that helps to get the coverage for second dose up. So we are doing pretty well so far. We still can do better. So we are we're always trying to achieve higher and higher coverages, and we encourage parents. Parents have been really cooperative, and we encourage them to continue to take the children out for vaccination.
Okay, I just want to ask, because I think we are as a society and as parents want to be not only responsible but as informed, so that we're safe. The requirement that you speak of for our school-age children entering our schools within the country, mandatory for them to get it, or they can opt out?
They can opt out.
But
it's not mandatory. It's a requirement, but it's not a legal requirement. It's not like a law that is in place to say you must get it, or else there's a penalty.
I don't want to belabor it, I'm trying to be disrespectful, but just for clarification, a parent goes to a school, public or private, school says we need you to be vaccinated. Let's start with public schools first. And the parent says nope, for whatever reason, religious, personal, whatever that reason is. What then? Can the child still attend school? How does that work?
Yeah, there's a process, and because there's not a law, but it's a policy from the education department that children need to be vaccinated before they go to school. In a case like this, the parent will be asked to go to the public health department. They will need a letter from the medical officer of health stating that they have refused to get vaccinated for whatever reason. It could be medical, religious, cultural, whatever reason it is. Yeah. We normally meet with the parents and explain to them, and if after that meeting and explaining the safety and the need for the vaccine, they're still insisted on get this letter, we will produce the letter to them. However, the letter make it clear that if there is an outbreak of vaccine-preventable disease in school, the children will be removed from school until that outbreak is over. Okay. Because we cannot put neither the children or the other kids at risk because of the personal decision of the parent.
And again, public or private schools, that would be the same policy. The parents can opt out, but there is that sort of policy for vaccinations.
Yes, that's correct.
All right. I think we, Nurse Angie, your team have explained that to us, but just so that in case someone's not clear, that's it. The vaccinations now as we can. Many of us are now going overseas for school, maybe for university and tertiary, or the tertiary education, maybe boarding school. I gather that some countries have as a condition of entry to granting a student a visa or what have you, you must have certain vaccinations. If not, you can't come in. That's what I understand. Is that the case?
Yes. Well, all the students that come to public health to us or going to university overseas, they always take their forms. There are some vaccines that are recommended. There are some that are mandatory. And when they come to us, we look at their vaccination history. So from their childhood coming up, so we look and we complete those forms for them. If they're missing any, of course, we'll give that to them before they go. Sometimes it means that they have to start it here, and then when they come on for holidays, then they do the subsequent doses. Okay,
and we'll get through that. And I think parents maybe start looking at that now if they're not sure whether they go into the US. I just use 3 countries: US, Canada, and the UK. Even though I think we're still British. I'm not sure. It depends who you are. I'll be here with Dr. William. Hey, you've got to laugh on days on Wednesdays. Even with that, now, are there vaccinations in the US and Canada specifically that are mandatory? Is measles one?
Measles is one.
Yeah.
Yes, measles, and 2 doses of measles. And another one is hepatitis B. Usually they have hepatitis B as one of those that, especially the students who are going to be studying in the medical field.
Yeah.
The hepatitis B is a mandatory vaccine.
But non-medical field students still mandatory for US and Canada?
Yes, and tetanus as well.
Yeah. It's usually not a decision by the government or the U.S. or Canada, by the school. So actually their school have their own entry form, and the vaccination requirement and the type of medical that students do is different depending on the school. Sometimes they want test for TB, for example, even though the BCG vaccine is not part of the U.S. schedule. So it differs depending on the schools. I want to touch quickly on something that you have mentioned earlier, that parents on the 20 or 30s that are not familiar with with measles because the condition has been eliminated for the Americans for a while. Actually, we were in a workshop 2 weeks ago, very successful with a consultant from PAHO, and the doctor asked, there were a few healthcare providers there, how many of us have seen a case of measles? And very few.
Very few.
Only the older doctors actually, and people were kind of afraid to raise their hand because you're kind of telling your age. But very few have seen a case of measles, so it can be misdiagnosed very easily, even though there is a clear clinical definition and some clinical characteristics that are with measles. But because we have not had the experience of seeing these cases on a regular basis, it's not something that we will be able to diagnose clinically that easily. And that's why the insistence of testing for this type of patient, and basically the recommendation that we have received from PAHO and WHO is that any patient with a fever and a rash, especially if it's a child, we should investigate them for measles.
Now, for those of us who are on that age scale that have either seen it as practicing professionals or have had it as, otherwise, maybe we're dismissive, but can measles, I don't want to scare them about it, but can it be fatal? Can it lead to significant consequences if untreated?
It can lead to different complications. Death is not common. It's a very infectious condition, up to 90%. So it can pass very easily. And the symptoms for people who have it in the past are very extremely uncomfortable. But death is not a common complication of measles. Even in the U.S., with all the cases that they haven't so far, I'm not aware of any patient have actually died. Right. So it's not a common complication. It could happen, with any, depending on the immune system of the person, and other complications that could arise from it. But it's not a common complication. But it is a very, very uncomfortable clinical condition with the rash and the itching and all of that.
And of course, we can have the encephalitis, the inflammation of the brain, and so on in rare cases. And there are some conditions where it can be the rash can get out of hand and it can disfigure the person. It can. There are some pictures that we saw at the workshop for cases of measles, where even the lips look different. It has some serious complications, but more so in countries where the socioeconomics is very poor. So if we should have measles here, it's not like we're going to be having all that encephalitis, because we would detect it early, we would treat it early, we would isolate the persons and take proactive measures. However, there are places around the world where their socioeconomics is not that good, where the outcome is not that good.
So when we're doing the vaccinations, I think it was MMR, measles, mumps, and rubella,
yes, that's
being
correct.
one of those. Now, does measles and rubella go hand in hand? If that's the way we put it, because the vaccinations are there. But if we're looking at measles, then where does rubella fit into that?
Rubella is even worse than measles, because rubella is an illness that if a woman gets it during pregnancy, it has deleterious effects can have on the fetus. There are many complications that can occur because of that. So we want, in trying to eliminate, when we tried to eliminate rubella, it was because of those effects on the fetus where we were so aggressive in trying to eliminate it, and we have been successful so far. Mumps, as simple as persons take it, you just have a swelling of the jaw. But mumps can be detrimental in males because it can affect their testes and they can become sterile. And people don't, you just look at mumps, it's it's just a little swelling, but it can have dangerous consequences.
Yeah, and mumps and rubella, especially rubella is not a common, especially now, like measles with the outbreak that we have in measles. Mumps, we still have cases here and there, and the complication that occurred that Angela just mentioned is a very serious complication because it can lead to infertility in males. So it's not it's something that, and we have one vaccine that covers all three of them, and that's the good part about this.
All right. Well, we had a chance now to speak to the Acting Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Samuel Williams Rodriguez, and EPI Manager, Nurse Angela Graham. Now, just to hear Susan's voice, but you can call and share your thoughts, 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. I think as soon as Ms. Susan ready, we'll patch for that call and share as we're looking at measles. We go to our phones, Ms. Susan? Oh, take the break first? Now, you guys, who's in charge, who's the boss, right? To the callers, I hope you will be respectful. Just please stay on the line. We'll pause, take the break. When we come back, glad to take your calls.
Cayman Carnival Batabanu Street Parade is this Saturday, May 4th, beginning at 12 noon from Public Beach, West Bay Road into Georgetown. Take in the kaleidoscope of colors and join the bands in downtown Georgetown. Fill up on food from vendors on Cardinal Avenue from 1 p.m. and stay for the last lap. 3 stages, 3 bars, and 12 international and local DJs. Keeping the party jumping from 3 p.m. till midnight. Wind your waist at the soca stage. Back it up at reggae stage. And get ready to rumba at the Latin stage. With the last lap, 3 stages, 3 bars, and 12 DJs from 3 p.m. downtown Georgetown this Saturday, May 4th, following the Batabanu Street Parade. Visit CaymanCarnival.com for details.
Why my wife always asking if I'm in a rush when she's the one always making us late?
Might as well say, yeah, I'm in a rush and go buy the new Toyota Rush you've been talking about. Cause they on sale this month. Doll teacher.
The super special spring SUV sale at Vant Motors. Save up to $4,400 with SUVs starting at only $23,500 like the 7-seater Toyota Rush. Save money, get cash back, or use the discount to upgrade features on the SUV of your choice, including the Toyota RAV4, the Fortuner, the Rush, or the Ford EcoSport. It's our super special spring SUV sale only at Vant Motors, Walkers Road.
Moms everywhere, Advance Automotive salutes you. We know you have the hardest job in the world, so we want to introduce you to the 2019 Chevrolet Traverse, the stylish 7 or 8-seater SUV, voted Best Family Car 2018. Partnering with Saxon, take advantage of our new 1-2-3 offer. 1 year free insurance, 2 years free servicing, and 3 years free licensing, freeing up more cash to pamper yourself this Mother's Day. Moms everywhere, you rock. Visit the showroom on Owen Roberts Drive or visit AdvanceChevrolet.com to start enjoying your new Traverse. Who runs the world? Mums.
CUC advises customers on North Sound Road in Georgetown that they will experience interruptions to their electrical service on Sunday, May 5th between 7 a.m. and 3 p.m. Areas affected include customers on North Sound Road between Cannon Place and Atlantic Supply at the junction of North Sound Road and Redgate Road, including Caterpillar Lane, Kentsville Drive, and Beacon Furniture on Dorsey Drive. Customers on Redgate Road and Dorsey Drive will not be affected. Residential customers on Kentsville Drive will only experience a short interruption to their service between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. All commercial customers will be affected for the duration of the outage. Motorists are asked to drive with caution when utilizing this section of North Sound Road, as CUC will have a number of vehicles and personnel in the area and will be deploying rumble strips and signage to manage the traffic flow. CUC apologizes for this interruption, which is necessary to facilitate required overhead infrastructure upgrades to provide our customers with safe, reliable, and efficient power. For more information on the outage and streets affected, please contact CUC's customer service team at 949-5200 or email service@cuc.ky.
Did you know the procurement process for the cruise berth facility has gone above and beyond to make sure that we get this project right? Government commissioned some of the most respected companies in the world to carry out research and scientific studies, and their expertise and findings are being used to make the best decisions possible. Learn more and spread the word.
Support our port, support our tourism.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Thanks for joining us as we have a chance to tell you about the musical awareness and the excellent work at the Public Health Department. The Acting Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Samuel Williams Rodriguez, together with the EPA Manager, Nurse Angela Graham. We do have a call online. I'd hate to ask you to, what they say, best way to dig up your hair, but, don your headsets and we'll take our calls. Good afternoon and welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Good afternoon to you, Sterling. Good afternoon to the good doctor and the senior nurse here, and they're two knowledgeable people.
Yes, sir. Thank you for calling.
People a lot of good advice. And most vaccinations like that have very few side effects, and people should be encouraged to have their children do them. I just wondered with the measles thing, you have two types of measles really that I know about for most people. That what I call the German measles and the red measles. And I know that it can be a serious thing, but as you said, death is uncommon. And it really is. But for the itching and scratching and this, I know this may be an old-time thing, but I knew it was used a lot. The tamarind leaves, the leaves of the tamarind tree, which is abounds in Cayman, they would bathe in warm water with the tamarind leaves, and it would bring that itching down almost to zero. And even the effects of it, like the spots or stuff, and I know especially with chicken pox, they use it a lot in that, and it would take away the blotches, but the itching, the tamarind alleviated it somehow. It must have some kind of a miraculous or some very medicinal properties in the leaves, because I knew that was used by nurses and the clinics and years and times gone by. They would use that a lot. I just wondered if it's still encouraged by doctors, nurses, to be used to this day, because it's a cheap, free thing. We have tamarind trees abounding here, and we know that the tamarind itself is very beneficial. Vitamins and so forth, extremely beneficial, but I know the leaves, the properties of it, they were always used for that, measles and chicken pox, but especially measles, alleviated the scratching a lot. I proved that person many, many years ago.
Yes, sir.
I had measles, it was so many years ago, and I had both. And they told me that once you had measles like that, it's very rare that it would ever come back on you. I don't know if that's so, but I'll hang up and listen to the good doctor.
Right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for your call. Yeah, you're right. Once you got measles, you get actually immunity for life, so it's very unlikely that you will get it again. When it comes to the tamarind and other plants, they do have medical properties, and they are helpful in certain conditions. I will suggest and recommend for patients before they do that to go and see the primary care physician and make sure that the proper diagnosis is done, and then the recommendation, they can discuss the use of this plant or any other medication with their primary care physician.
Excellent. Ms. Susan, we have another caller as we go to our phones. Welcome, you're on Talk Today. Hello, good afternoon. Yeah, welcome back again, man. Good to hear from you another time. Thanks so much.
Okay, thank you, man. Good afternoon to Dr. Samuel and Dr. Angela.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Nurse Angela.
I have a question. What causes people to develop shingles? I'll listen. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Shingles.
Yeah, well, shingles is actually a virus. It's the same virus that causes chicken pox. So when the person is encounter the virus the first time, they will develop chicken pox. If during their lifespan they get in contact into the virus again, they will develop then shingles. So it's the same virus that causes chicken pox. But we do have a vaccine for chicken pox, and we do have a vaccine for shingle that is recommended for patients over 50 years old. That's a U.S. guideline. I think we give it here over 55. But we do have a vaccine to prevent shingles as well.
Good question. Now, when we're looking at measles, I commend the vigilance and the diligence of the Public Health Department or Health Services. What else can you share with us, Dr. Williams? We so far know about one imported case or two in recent times?
Of measles?
Measles,
not in the Cayman Island,
okay.
No. We have not any imported case of measles in the Cayman Island at all. We investigated a case last year in December that we were informed of suspected case of measles, a patient seen in the private sector, we do have a very sensitive surveillance system that covers not only the public but the private sector. And we were made aware of this suspected case, and immediately we sent our public health team and the pediatrician to the house of the patient. We didn't want to bring the patient to the hospital just in case it was measles, not to expose anyone else. However, after the assessment done clinically and the history, it was determined initially that no, this doesn't seem like a case of measles. We investigated anyhow. We did an investigation for him, for the patient. We confirmed that was not a case of measles. But we did what we were supposed to do, what our protocol or guidelines said to do in a suspected case of measles. So the Cayman Islands remain measles-free. And with the current coverage that we have, we are confident that in case we get a confirmed case on island, imported case, we will be able to prevent and control any outbreak.
All right. Well, Ms. Susan reminds us we have another caller. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hello.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to your guest. Good afternoon to you, Dwayne.
Afternoon.
Actually, regarding shingles, we want to find out if someone happens to have had an outbreak of shingles, is there any cure for it, or what do you all recommend? Because I'll hang up and listen on the radio.
Okay, thanks. So, caller, ask a question. If someone has had an outbreak of shingles, any cure, what happens then? I mean,
well, yeah, shingles is a virus infection. Like I said, if a patient have shingles and diagnosed with shingles, there is a specific treatment for the condition with antiviral, and also include maybe some steroids and other medication for neuropathic pain. However, the earlier the diagnosis is made and the earlier the treatment is started, there is a higher possibility that the symptom will go away. The rash will go away within 2 to 3 weeks. The pain, what we call neuropathic pain, it could stay for longer, sometimes for months. And it's a severe pain. Very discomfort, a lot of discomfort for the patients. But if anytime the patient have a rash in the area and painful, if they go to the doctor and the diagnosis is made earlier and the treatment is started earlier, the chances of having this long-term pain, neuropathic pain, are less. But there is treatment for shingles, definitely, yeah.
All right. Well, as we look at it, and now from the perspective of measles and the proactive approach to we have that vigilance, what would you want our public to know? What can we do? What should we be doing?
Yeah, well, like I said, I think that we have not had cases of measles for years, and not only the public, but the healthcare provider too, are not familiar with measles. So a few symptoms that we should look at is a rash, a body rash that follow an onset of fever. Also, the patient can have cough, sore throat, something like conjunctivitis as well, pink eye. Something that is characteristic actually of measles is some white spots in the mouth, actually called Koplik's spot, which is pathognomonic of measles. Actually, you only see it in measles. But the fact that some patient doesn't have it doesn't really mean that it's not measles. So, because a lot of people are not familiar with the condition, neither the public or healthcare provider, that's why we recommend that any suspected case of measles, basically especially a child with a rash and fever, should be investigated. And it's a blood test that we can do and actually send to the lab to confirm if this is a case of measles or not. So that's one of the things we should do. I'm going to pass it to Nurse Angela, because there's another couple of other things that we actually been doing in the public health department at the HSA. I think she want to highlight on that as well.
Okay, as Dr. Williams mentioned, we recently had a workshop for persons who are basically on the front line in the public and private sector, like pediatricians who see children all the while. And we had a very successful workshop where we had persons coming together. And Dr. Karen Lewis Bell, who was here on this program, she facilitated the workshop, herself and Timothy McLaughlin from Cayman. And we went through, we reviewed measles, and we actually had simulation exercises. We went through all the processes all the different things that could happen during an outbreak, a prospective outbreak, and how we would cope with it. And it was a very useful exercise because it helped to remind us of our responsibilities, what we need to do. And we're asking even if members of the public, you can be part of our surveillance system as well, because surveillance is not just what the medical persons do, but persons in the community. We're not asking you to spy on your neighbors or anything, but if you have someone in your household who maybe went overseas and they came back and they had this high fever, and then 3 days after you notice this rash coming up on the face and spreading, we are depending on you to take this child or take this individual to the or call us at Public Health, and we will come in and we will do the necessary investigations.
Well, I certainly appreciate you taking time out of your extremely busy schedules, and anytime we can be of value. Any final thoughts, Dr. Williams, Mr. Angelo?
Yes, I want to encourage the public, the parents especially, to get their child vaccinated. That's the easier, safer way to prevent any outbreak of measles on the island. If they have any concerns, please talk to your pediatrician, talk to your nurses. They will be able to explain you about the benefits of having your child vaccinated against these conditions. I don't want to leave without saying the Public Health Department have been organizing additional clinics on Saturdays for parents that cannot bring their child during the week or so, basically to do some of these vaccinations, not only measles, but the rest of the vaccination that they need to be up to date. Actually, last Saturday, I think they have one of those clinics, and they have 60 patients, which is a lot for a small country. So we are glad for that. We will continue to do this clinic. We will announce them beforehand so the parent can make use of this clinic. I want to commend the nurse Angela and her team and the public health nurses because of the great work they have been doing over the years to try to keep the Cayman Island out of this vaccine preventable disease.
Thank you again. I guess behooves us to say thanks publicly, and it's really a great effort. So, thanks very much. If we can help to bring attention, spread the word, get your message, let us know. All right.
Thank you.
So, when we come back, we ask you to join us. More talk today.
Radio Cayman. Radio Cayman's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
The Cayman Islands Cricket Association has appointed its first senior development officer for women and girls. Sania Iqbal Khan, a former member of the Pakistan international women's team, will take responsibility for the development of women and girls cricket with immediate effect. Coach Khan's aim is to increase the participation of women and girls in the game. Coach Khan's appointment will see girls involved in the Cayman Islands Primary Schools Carnival tournament for the first time in its history. Her arrival will also see the development of new women's leagues and the development of a mother and daughter MAD cricket program in Cayman. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines. In news elsewhere, Venezuelans have gathered for mass protest after opposition leader Juan Guaido called for fresh demonstrations. It comes the day after President Nicolas Maduro said he had stopped an attempted coup by the opposition. Mr. Guaido says he has the support of the armed forces, but Mr. Maduro says they have not turned against him. A landslide destroyed more than a dozen homes in the Bolivian city of La Paz on Tuesday. Media in Bolivia reported that 17 houses were lost, but no deaths were reported as authorities had evacuated the area. And baby orangutans on the island of Sumatra are being captured and sold as pets. But charities are working to rescue the animals and comfort the owners. This is a series about the animals of Indonesia's Lusa rainforest and the people trying to save them. Lusa is one of the most biodiverse places on the earth. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands. What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
Did you know that the Department of Environmental Health operates a recycling program in the Cayman Islands? Recyclables such as number 1 and 2 plastics, tin and aluminum cans, cardboard, as well as glass and ceramic items are recycled on Grand Cayman by the DEH. Take these items to the recycling depots located at all Foster supermarkets, Kirk Market, and Hurley's Grand Harbor. Remember, keep the Cayman Islands clean. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. For more information about recycling, please visit DEH website at www.deh.gov.ky.
Support our port, support our tourism.
Did you know government agreed very early on that the piers would be built on pilings in deeper water to minimize the environmental footprint? Marine life will still be able to move freely underneath them, and coral relocation remains part of the plan.
Looking forward, looking bright.
Learn more and spread the word.
Support our port, support our tourism.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Thanks for joining us. And it is some open line. You can share your thoughts with us. Very grateful for the company of our guests. And if you had the opportunity to listen while we had the, Acting Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Samuel Williams Rodriguez, together with the EPI Manager, Nurse Angela Graham, share with us briefly on the issue of measles. We have to commend our populace, sort of health services sector, as it were, with the vigilance and the diligence. The fact that we haven't had any cases of measles is perhaps testament. Now, there are many of us who have our perspectives relative to getting vaccinations and the like. Get informed. Make a consciously informed decision about your health. Speak to your physician. Do some research and make sure that you're making the very best choices for your health and well-being. As Dr. Williams shared, they have these extra clinics on Saturdays. Hopefully that is a convenient time. We know that parents sacrifice and do as much as parents can do for their children. So as they go off to school, as they enter the next phases of their lives, not just to satisfy some legal requirement or some policy, but to make sure that they're healthy, mind, spirit, and body. Now, we invite you to be a part of a discussion. It is open line 949-8037, 949-6990, or likewise, you can give us a shout on our toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. And if you choose, you can send us a WhatsApp, 925-3261. Here's a WhatsApp that we would like to read, sent through to us. It says, I don't think the government should write off all the back pay that is owed on the vehicles, because that would send a message that it's okay to break the law. They should have 6 months to pay the fees owed without any penalties, but not to write them off. The good guys get nothing for paying their vehicles and the fees on time, so all should have to pay. Well, what's your view on that? This sentiment here expressed perhaps echoes a few that we've heard from a few individuals who said that understand perhaps the government's initiative, perhaps understand the allegations some have levied against the government. You're just playing politics. Understand that there are challenges that many people face financially. Now, I'll share with you what a few of you have said to me. Hopefully, I repeat it not only accurately, but hopefully without any sort of mixed messages and the like. Some have shared, have we looked at the challenges that are being sort of faced by our society, the difficulties people are having not only finding employment, but finding employment that pays well and having sufficient funds at the end of the month to pay the bills. Some have shared, why is it that it is always the government? And one individual, just this morning alone, speaking to this whole issue of concessions and the government, reducing taxes in some areas, or in this instance, offering up the amnesty. Why is it then that the government, so he said, read the people, us, having to give up this money, that means that's less money for the government to do stuff with, whether that's to pay for entertainment, to travel, whether that's to pay for health services or education or roads. That's still less money that's probably going to go into the general reserves to pay the operating costs of the government, to pay for perhaps capital works, new projects are ongoing, or the financing the debt. That's less money that goes in. The person says, and saying that and says, that's obvious, but we need to be reminded that that is our money that we're sort of giving up. Now, he shared, if we do that, should there be some sort of corresponding view on perhaps on the part of the private sector as well, without the government having to impose some sort of price controls, but is there a way that we can reduce the cost to live and to do business in this country? Now, beyond that, he shared, for instance, if you were to do an amnesty on the car licenses, is it similar to what this individual shared? Should it be, as this one individual this morning indicated, should it be for all and sundry, or should you have to prove that the vehicle wasn't being used? He gave us an example. Someone has a vehicle on the road for the last year or 6 months or 18 months, driving it up and down, taking a chance, knowing that there is no license. So ignore the fact that there may be the vehicle is insured, but perhaps no insurance, but no license to the government. That $200 and something, for the last 2 years. So for less than $500, the person has, been driving the vehicle relatively free in terms of what others would have to pay for the same period for that same kind of vehicle. Should that be encouraged? Should that be allowed? Should the person then say, okay, you owe the government $100. Maybe you can't pay it all one time. We'll give you a year to pay it. Or, you know what, if you pay it now, there's no penalty. What should we do as is being offered? Now, what is your perspective on that? Others have said there are probably, a lot of those vehicles there that if we don't do this now, it'll just drag on to the books and nobody will be the wiser. Is the exercise as difficult and complex and cumbersome as we seemingly have interpreted? Or is it that we have the knowledge to know that most of the vehicles are not on the road? Well, what is your thought? 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255 or likewise 949-6990. You can also WhatsApp your thoughts to us equally, 925-3261. And for those of you who have shared some of your views over time with their email, still get to that at some point. But still having some challenges with it. Technology, they say. Good servant, bad master. 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Now, the fellow sharing his perspective relative to the amnesty on the vehicles, I've said it applies to anything that the government does. If we read it and consider it to be a concession, if it's going to mean less money in the government coffers and not any contributing sort of benefit to the wider society, then does it make any sense? Well, let's see what happens as we go to the phones. Welcome, good afternoon. You're on Talk Today.
Yeah, good afternoon, Dwayne.
Hey, good to hear from you. How are you today?
I'm all right, and how you doing?
Very thankful, I tell you the honest truth. Some days are good and some days are better.
Boy, you're not lucky like OC. They take him to France.
But hold on, are they going to bring him back?
Huh?
See, are they going to bring him back? Be mindful.
I hope not. He can stay there.
No, I don't know, man. France is nice, but Cayman's better.
No, man, it's worse because we don't want such talk show host like him.
That's just you, man.
He could be a dictator. If you give him power, worse than the leader of the opposition without members support him. That's the most funny thing in democracy.
But that's your perspective, man. I'm sure that's not shared by many.
Leader of the opposition without support of the member of the opposition. That's never happened in any democracy in the world.
But then, is it that an indication that our political system is still maturing, that our adoption of a structured, disciplined party system is and this is just a question I've heard asked, so let me ask it, is that just an indication that as a people, we're not really ripe for that just yet? That's not what we want. We like the freedom of thought. And what's your view? I mean, is it one or the other?
Dwayne, either we are democracy, full democracy, or either we turn to a dictatorship like, some countries, maybe some of them in Middle East, the leader like Egypt, they elect him until now they change the constitution just to suit the leader until 2033 or something. I mean, maybe he don't live until then. So it seems we either have a democracy or we either have a dictatorship.
But could we not have a dictatorship within a democracy?
I tell you, it seems in Cayman, after what I see yesterday from the director of public transport, it seems the thinking of some civil servant is a dictatorship. Like you complain about a bus driver who is not doing his route, like going. If your route to go to north side, all the way to north side, and you ask the driver, I'm going north side. He said, no, I'm just going Boden town. Every day like this. And you complain. And you talk in the public radio every day about the same thing and the same complaint about those drivers.
But if I may ask you, and don't go, won't put you off, but like you shared, let's use the public transport as the example as you use. So the route is, you leave here, you have to go this path all the way up. We've heard for years that there are probably some drivers more so than others that allegedly people have complained about to the public transport unit who do not obey their route. If you're sharing that those complaints are falling on deaf ears, that those drivers are continuing to infringe and perhaps not, conform to, and there are no sanctions. Tell me now, what do we do? Because if it's falling on deaf ears and you complain, nothing's happening, what do we do?
Yeah, you see, I choose the right way. Yesterday, I was by opposite Funky Tanks by the bus stop.
Okay.
A public bus driver don't want to go north side. So I see the director of public transport in the parking lot of Flow with another inspector there, right?
And you bring it to his attention, right?
I walk in toward him. I'm like about 12 feet away from him. He said, sir, I don't want to talk to you because you complain about us in the public radio.
Okay, let me help out. Let's say you have made the complaint in writing, you've made it verbally, and whatever the complaint is, but let's use the one that you're speaking of specifically, public transport. And to your mind, the issue isn't being resolved. Now, only for this instance, let's assume that there's only one driver that operates in that manner. And let's say everybody knows who that driver is. Why is it then that the customers that are using that service do not go on that particular bus? Why do they refuse to use that bus? Let economics take over. You're not following the route. We're not going to use your bus service. So therefore, you either change your policy or you don't have no business. How about trying it that way?
Yeah, Dwayne, look, is the problem is there is about 4 or 5 drivers behaving the same way.
Right.
Every day we have the same problem, north side, east end. Even Mr. Arden McLean in the legislation assembly,
right,
he talk about the matter. Other members of the house talking about the matter.
Right.
And still, I am urging the premier of this country, number one, to remove the board, every member of the transport board, and put a new board.
Okay.
Number 2, I am urging the Deputy Governor, Mr. Franz Manderson, to bring for us a Director of Public Transport who can conduct himself with a good manners, with a good behavior in public, and who can control the driver.
Okay, but let me ask you two quick questions. In your just your perspective, right? What you've done, have you made a formal written complaint?
I make over 50 complaints.
No, written complaint, not
the system.
Written complaint.
In the system.
Sorry?
It is in the system.
Okay, so you've made a complaint against this driver, that driver, about this issue, that issue. So you've done that formally.
Same issues, and no one ever call and say there is action being done. And the driver, you know what is the one driver driving a bus to Eastern bus? He told me nothing come out of it. I know the people in the board, they are my friends. They can't do me nothing.
Okay. All right. I don't want to dismiss you too much, but let us pick that up after the break. And appreciate you sharing your call with us. Very frustrating. Let's talk about it after. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
From happy beginnings to happy ever after.
Brit K protects your lifestyle with the best insurance cover at the best possible price.
Health insurance with far-reaching benefits.
95% of claims settled in 5 days.
Low-cost life insurance.
And investments.
Security in retirement.
With a custodian pension plan.
For happy beginnings and a happy ever after.
Visit BritK.ky or call 949-8699.
Brit K, where people come first.
We are Radio Cayman, and this is how we wake you up in the morning. Praise time. Praise time on Radio Cayman.
Walk them golden stairs, 'cause I know my Jesus answers all my prayers.
Praise time.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
Praise time.
Give me Jesus in the morning. For the God of the mountain is still God in the valley.
Shout with joy to God, all the earth, sing glory to His name. Praise time. Praise time.
Jesus in the morning, yeah.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
Place household garbage in large bags prior to its placement in a garbage container to avoid spillage during collection. A suitable garbage container must be made of sturdy materials that will allow it to withstand weathering. A tightly fitted cover is also necessary to keep out water and stray animals. Do your part. Keep your surroundings clean. Store household garbage in a suitable garbage container. For more tips on proper waste packaging, please visit DEH website at www.deh.gov.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. Thanks for sharing with us. And the caller made some points related to public transport. I'll look quickly at some other comments that came through that I want to share with you. But first, let's go join our next line and pick up this call. Welcome, you're on Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Sterling.
Good afternoon. How are you, Mom?
Pretty good. I just want to say that some of the things that caller was saying in regards to the public transport, it is true, Sterling.
Mm-hmm.
It is true because being as a taxi driver here and the public transport, Sterling, the behavior, I'm not saying the taxis don't misbehave too, but I don't think there's anybody misbehave anymore what these public buses do on the road. And it doesn't seem to be any clap down on them and no suspension and no warning from what we can gather on the road, because if there's any, why is it still continuing going on and so heavily in every capacity? 7 Mile Road going east. A couple of days ago, I actually got the license plate number written down. That son of a gun almost killed me. For no reason. It's all about them when they're on the road.
And then they got this nasty habit. I ride the public bus from time to time when my car's in the garage, and I just rode the bus just recently, so less than a month and a half ago. And when you're going to be on the phone talking to your next buddy telling you, boy, so-and-so gone up, and they got 7 foot in the bus, they're calling their customers 7 foot. In other words, instead of saying they got 7 customers, they got 7 foot. That means 7 persons in the van, Sterling.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're going to get a bus system here and have that kind of behavior when we got people taking the bus to get to their office and wherever else they may be going, that kind of behaviors on the buses, it ain't going to work. You can't be calling your customers 7 foot, 10 foot. The music that they play, the videotapes that they play inside the bus, the behavior.
But let me excuse me. Let me ask, because I'm looking at a couple of messages now that I'm receiving, and one here in particular, the fellow says, I'm only sending you this message because I've sent this, so long ago, right? We chatted about it before. He says, and it's the same thing. This was 2 years ago, and it's the same issue today. Let me ask, why is it then that the complaints of today or 2 years ago are the same?
Because, Sterling, they are not a public bus service. They're all privately owned, and the majority of those guys are driving their owners of the buses, or they are here on a work permit working to drive bus for someone else. Public transport problem, they claim they don't have enough bodies to come out here to see what's going on. But when you go and make a complaint to them, they go and tell them that Tom June just called and tell me that you just did so and so and so on the road here and there.
Mm-hmm. But
they got pedestrian crossing, honey. They got pedestrian crossing here and there.
Mm-hmm. No, go ahead. I'll listen. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They stop on that pedestrian every time they stop, and they are obstructing traffic that you cannot see if anybody's stepping off to that pedestrian to come across to go to those condos, or just picking up someone that wants to ride on their bus, who behind them don't know that's what's happening. And I have been behind them numbers of times, especially on the 7 Mile, when they're doing what they're doing down there.
Right.
Public transport claims they can't handle the situation. If they can't handle the situation, they need to bring in staff or cut back on the buses that they have on the road so they can control what's on the road. They are out of control.
But why is it then, from your perspective, and if you are able to weigh in, why do you think then the public transport, the enforcement arm, the licensing and enforcement arm of this equation isn't able to handle the situation?
Why they're not able to handle it?
Mm-hmm.
That's a very good question. And that question been asked for many years to public transport. If you cannot handle the overflow of public buses and taxi drivers and tour buses on the street, why do you have so many and don't have anyone to come out here and help you enforce the situation? Nobody's enforcing it.
So lack of enforcement seems to be the theme.
Lack of enforcement, that's right. They think because they go up to the junction of North Side Road there and watch the bus go in and going to time it to go to the final destination to turn around, come back out. Let me tell you something. Many of those buses don't get too far into North Side or East End.
Let me ask you, what credence do you give to the allegation that the reason why in many instances, and we'll stick to public transport because that's the substantive question now, why there's no enforcement is because there is political interference, whether that's from the politician or whether that's from the puppet master. So the civil servants who are supposed to be entrusted to do this thing isn't doing it because formally or informally they're getting a directive interference. I
feel they get a lot of interference from all two sides.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get an example. We're going to go from public bus to taxis for just 1 second.
Right.
Public transport say they need more taxis at the airport. Public transport got more taxis put up to the airport. And when it's time to have a taxi to leave the airport, there's not enough taxis at the airport still to take the visitors to the final destination. So what I say that to say this: how come you can go and send more taxis to the airport? They're still not coming to work the way they should. It's the same thing with the public transport. They are only working for so many hours. I don't think they're working after 8 o'clock in the evening time. We don't have a night service on the buses. And public transport can't control them. And they can't control the taxis.
All right.
They can't control nothing, apparently.
Can I ask you then a question that I hopefully asked the caller prior? If, for instance, whether it's one operator or 5 or 50 or however many, if we know the particular bus driver, let's use the ones that take those little buses and run people up and down, what if we know that the driver doesn't follow the route, that the behavior of the driver and the conduct on the bus, the music, the videos, whatever it is that as a paying customer we don't like? Why is it that we still take the bus?
Why we still take the bus?
Uh-huh.
Well, let me tell you why I took the bus, because my car was in the garage.
So that there's no option then?
Well, to an extent, I took the bus because my car was in the garage. Okay?
Right.
We got construction guys and people going to Foster's and her.
No, sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you, but given the time, we know why people using the bus service. But what I'm saying is, and I just use the example, John. So John is the bus driver that everybody says, boy, John's a bad bus driver. He has a dog on the bus that bites at people, and he's playing loud music, and he's cussing, and all sorts of manner of evil. John is a horrible person, right? Generic John, we can call him. But yet, James and Mary and Peter and Sue go use the bus, but every day they get on that John's bus and they complain about it, but they still take the bus. Why is it that they're not spending their $1, their $3, or their $10 and going with another bus driver who's...
Well, Sterling, those buses is on a time clock.
Right.
So many buses going east, so many buses going west.
I understand.
So whatever bus is in line, that's the bus you're going to take.
Right. But
Unless you wait and go another 30, 40 minutes.
Okay, but let me ask. So there are two things. The buses leave the depot and they're on a time clock. So you come in line, hopefully they follow the queue, and then you wait there for 10, 15 minutes, whatever, and then you have to go out whether you're full or not. That's my understanding. Right. So you're driving your route, you're supposed to take your route. Then I don't have the route in front of me, but let's say you leave the bus depot and you're supposed to go up the north side, as the caller was alleging, and you go around the loop and you come back down and you follow the particular route. Right?
Mm-hmm.
The buses are numbered and labeled and fairly identifiable, right? So here comes the driver that everybody says, oh, he's a bad driver, he's this, that, the next thing. We only use the men for this example, so for the men, forgive me, all right? But you're waiting for a bus, you need to get where you got to go, you don't want to be late, but you're seeing this person, you go, geez, I don't want to go on that bus. Why don't let the bus go on and you catch the next one? Instead of paying your fare and keeping John in business. And
it depends on what time you have to, Sterling, if you're on a time clock to get somewhere, within so much time. But Sterling, when you go and complain those kind of people to the public transport, it is them to pull them down immediately and investigate the situation.
Right. I agree. But if we're saying that there is no enforcement for whatever reason, if we're saying that, these people who operate in this manner continue to operate in this manner, stay in business, would we go to a gas station if we weren't being treated nicely? Would we go to a restaurant if we believe that the food was being poisoned, the rats running everywhere, whatever it is? Even though, would we do that?
Go to the gas station. When I go to the gas station and I can't get a service that I want, I drive and go to another gas station.
Right. So why don't we do that with the bus drivers that...
Sometimes you can't. I'm quite sure some people do, but not all the time you can do it.
I hear you. Anything else you want to share with us?
Public transport needs to straighten up and start flying right.
Yes.
Take these people off the road.
All right.
I need to talk about more, but your time is up, and I got to.
You must have seen Susan threatening to hit me that time and switch. All right. Thank you, Mom.
Bye-bye.
Oh, thank you very much, and thanks to Susan too. We got a few minutes over. I apologize, but I appreciate it. Listen, let's do better. Each of us, as individuals, improve the way we behave and the way we act. Then we don't have to worry about trying to improve anybody else, and we just improve ourselves. I don't say that to be overly naive or even come across as being idealistic, but the person that we can influence the most is ourselves. Now, our example and the way we conduct ourselves and what we say and do, people will look at it and they'll judge us and they'll probably conclude a certain thing. But if you want to lose weight, you can't pay somebody to exercise for. You need help for you. I mean, I tried that. It doesn't work. No, I'm just kidding. You've got to put in the effort if you want the outcome. Tomorrow is another day. It's a Thursday, right, Miss Susan? Tomorrow is Thursday? All right, already. And I think Friday going to be a holiday, Miss Susan. Can we make Friday a holiday? No, we can't. All right, so God's willing, we'll get a chance to be part of those days as well. But let's start with tomorrow and invite you to come back for Talk Today right after the midday news and midday meditation. Hoping to be able to welcome to our studio an opportunity to chat with the good folks over at the Cayman's Boxing Association, tell you about health and wellness and some of the programs there, and talk about other things. Got something in store for us for Friday, but if I tell you now, then you won't be guessing and come back Friday to join us. But it's going to be controversial. Nah, it's not going to be. It might be. Until then, be blessed.